Welcome, friends, to the monthly satsang. Uh, I hope you are able to hear me. I'm doing this from my home in California. Uh, Before we get started with the monthly satsang, I wanted to give a little bit of update on where we are in terms of meeting hall construction. A lot of folks in the past asked me about the progress that we are making, and there are a lot of satsangis who want to come to Bruce, Wisconsin, to see how the progress is being made, because some of them want to do active seva, and so we are making some plans for this coming Memorial Day weekend, where satsangis can do their part of seva. And in coming months, we have some plans where we'll be able to make some construction happen. So far, just to bring everybody up to speed, in past couple of years, we have had some construction to make the foundation. So we have foundation walls created, and for the building structure, where the pillars are going to rest, we have something called piers on which the columns are going to rest. So that had been finished, but in the process of doing this construction and reviewing the outcome, we found some issues, as I had mentioned in prior announcements. So we are planning to rectify some of those issues, and we have contractors lined up who will be able to do subsequent work, such as drilling the piers to put something called anchor bolts on which the columns are going to rest. We have signed contract with the steel company that is going to provide us the columns, a lot of steel structure, and we have a contract signed to erect the steel structure in place. So we are anticipating that in a couple of weeks, or maybe pretty soon, it could be tomorrow or day after, some work will start. That will be done purely by professionals, and subsequently there are other work that I talked about, putting anchor bolt, and even prior to that, we had to do some work to make sure that the land itself, the place, the area where the meeting hall is going to be, so that is all flat, that is graded properly. So we have our building committee continuously meets every week in most cases, and discusses all the issues that are pending and what next we need to work on, and so on. So so far the budget permits us to put the steel structure up and maybe do a light enclosure, and we'll see how much of that enclosing we'll be able to do. There may be a shortfall, or there may not be shortfall, but our instruction from our master Ishupuriji, whose picture you can see in the background, is to go ahead with the constructions only when we have the funds readily available with us. So to that degree, to the extent we have money in the bank, we'll be able to make progress, and we'll see what the Moj calls for. So we expect that in June, third week of June or so, steel structure will arrive at our site. So some of you who are in Bruce will be able to observe this, and many of us will be traveling to Bruce to see this happen. This is going to be a very important occasion for a lot of people who have been closely following the construction of meeting hall. So I am also anticipating this eagerly, and hopefully I'll be in Bruce to observe this myself. In June or July, we expect a lot of these activities to happen. This will all be professional work, and I think there may be necessity for some folks to just observe and make sure that the work is being done properly. Thank you for all the folks who have decided to participate in this. And this is all our seva towards our master, beloved master Ishwapuriji. So hopefully this gives you some idea, and please subscribe to Isha blog so that you are up to speed on whatever activity is happening. And one of the volunteer who manages this goes into quite a detail of what activities are happening. It's not only just the meeting hall construction, but there is gardening activity and other kind of seva, other small structures that we put up to make the atmosphere in Dera conducive for people to gather together, have satsang, talk about the truth, the message that our master and his master and many masters in this lineage, and not only this lineage but in different paths, they have talked about. So let me come back to the monthly satsang. And this is, according to many masters and Ishwapuriji, is one of the important duties for us as a human being who have come to this physical plane to either partake in this or various other things that we normally conduct in our life. Generally, I have this meeting on the last week of a month, but because of some other things that were happening in parallel in my life, I could not schedule it earlier. So apologies for that. I know many people had reached out to me about when satsang was about to happen, was going to happen. But yeah, I could not fix the time. So as soon as I was more or less certain, I put the time in Isha website. So, we keep ourselves busy in this realm, in this physical plane as a human being. Our time is occupied by a lot of things, and but we are unable to somehow bring ourselves back into the most important task that we have as a human being, as masters often say, because they operate from a different level, and they are able to see that we just spend a short amount of time on this planet Earth and in this physical realm, and thus this chapter is over. And this chapter gets over, we don't know what happens next. As a human being living in this physical body, experiencing all kinds of difficulties to survive in this plane and manage different duties that we have, sometimes work-related obligations, sometimes family obligations, sometimes different pains that body goes through, different kind of ailments that we suffer from, and we need to manage all of these things, and these seem to occupy most of our time. And when we get out of these times, these things that we spend our attention on, then somehow we want to just take it easy, relax, entertain ourselves through various means, or if our life is good, then we just thirst after all the lucrative things that this physical plane has to offer. And there is no lack of these things. Anywhere you turn your attention to, there are variety of attractive things. It could be in terms of physical gadgets, it could be in terms of relationships that you want to have, or want to entertain yourself by watching movies, different dramas, and these are always trying to grab our attention. When we turn our phone, ads come up. They try to lure you into buying products, material things, and we somehow get entangled. And this seems to occupy our 100% of attention while we are awake. And when we are not awake, when we are sleeping, we spend maybe 6, 7, 8 hours just sleeping or drowsing, and there is at the end of the day there is not enough time left for what masters tell us that our most important job as a human being is. What I'm alluding to is there are important questions that sometimes people come upon, because of the challenges they face in their life, uh, as to who created us, how we are related to different people, what is our purpose, what will happen when we die, is there another kind of existence, is there a God, how can I meet God? These questions arise in most of our minds, but because of our attraction or duties that we have, we somehow put them aside. We always, in the news, we find that there is war happening, or there is a kind of deadly outbreak happening. Like most of us experienced COVID, and how we were in a lockdown mode, and our master himself passed away during COVID time. We see death happening around us because of war that is happening in Ukraine, and in Israel, Gaza war that is happening. A lot of lives are being lost, sometimes in the name of religion, sometimes just for a profit motive. We do not fully understand. Sometimes, even though people have a lot of wealth, people are not yet satisfied. They want to earn even more. Sometimes, the hunger is much bigger than their stomach, and even though their generations after them can survive for thousands of years, depending on how much money they have, yet it doesn't satisfy them. So somehow we are tied by these desires, greed, and various other desires we have, and we are somehow held as a prisoner in this physical body. If we didn't have this physical body, probably most of our attraction would not be there. A lot of times we just need to maintain this body. We need to earn living so that we can eat. We need shelter, and few amenities. And sometimes it's so hard in our life to just get those things, and especially during a downturn, economic downturn, like a lot of people are saying we are going through since COVID started, and this period that we are going through. You can, when you in a traffic, I see, when the car slows down, I get to see, and I'm sure a lot of you who are observing what's happening in the world would find that sometimes homelessness has increased, or there are people standing in intersection begging for a few dollars. So you wonder what kind of creation is this? Why God created such a miserable life for some of the people, whereas there are other set of people with a lot of money who are living their dream life. And why is this disparity? How can a God, if there is a God, be so biased towards one group of people, whereas other group of people, are suffering, another group is having a good time? So it doesn't make sense. A lot of us ask that question because some of us suffer through that, and it is natural that we want to overcome those issues that we have, maybe business failure, maybe loss of some family member. So we ask these pertinent questions that are at very core of our existence, and these questions have been asked not only during this time, but if you study books of past, a lot of mystics have written about these things, or philosophers. You'll find that wars have never ended. Wars have been going around for thousands of years. As long as history has been around, documented history, you would find incidents of wars happening between two groups. So it's natural that people who are suffering during these wars would have similar questions. And so what masters have told us, that these things are part of this existence. Up and down happens, and the only way to go and find the truth and get out of this shackles that we have is to turn inside. They say that the human life that we have been given is extremely important, and only in this human form we can find a way out so that we don't have to come back again. And it is surprising sometimes to hear that we have been here or we have to come back. And sometimes Western science doesn't want to believe that. In fact, there have been a lot of studies by modern, you can say, curious folks or scientists who have been documenting these incidents of reincarnation that some of them find. Some of them are psychologists and are interested in human behavior. And so there have been, I was watching some program where they talked about reincarnation research, wherein the researcher went meticulously and documented all the cases that he found. And in fact, he sent his own researchers to document some of these things and took a very detailed note. And these have been done, almost 1,200 cases I was hearing about. And a couple of cases, that I want to recall and share with you that shed a light on the idea that reincarnation is possible, and it's not only possible but it has been scientifically documented as well. It's a different matter that when we have closed our mind to the facts that are scientifically documented, we still don't want to believe it. So as masters sometimes say that when the time is right, then only we hear what we want to hear. And so in one of the cases, this researcher documented a story of a person in Lebanon. Her name was Hannah, and she was in middle 30s, a mid 30s woman, and she had a couple of kids. And this woman developed some kind of heart issue, and so she went to the doctors, and doctors checked her heart, and they said that your heart is weak, and we would recommend you not to have any more kids. And because having a kid would require your heart to pump a lot more blood, because the blood needs to go to the baby as well, and so your heart is not in condition to provide for extra blood, so it's weak and you would be in danger. But it so happened that this woman Hannah becomes pregnant again, and so she decides to get a surgery done, heart surgery done to take care of her heart. And so she visits Virginia, where her brother was living at the time. And so she comes to Virginia, and just before the surgery is scheduled, she wanted to call her daughter back in Lebanon and tell her, if something were to happen to her, this is how they should take care of all the possessions that this lady had, Hannah had. So she tried to call her daughter named Laila, and wanted to tell her, share all the jewelry that I have among your sisters, and other instructions. And she ended up sharing that with her brother because she was not able to reach out to Laila. And anyway, the surgery happens, and after one day she dies. She leaves her body. And after a few days, after around a week, another girl in Lebanon is born. Her name was Suzanne, and from early age she wanted to scribble something, but she by then she had not yet learned how to write or read, but she would scribble some number. And parents were surprised that at this early age, when she was not even able to understand the letters, she was able to scribble. And it so happened they later found out that that number that she was scribbling had just two digits off, transposed. They exchanged their places, and that was the number back in Lebanon. And she was going from her memory and was trying to write down this number. When she became a toddler, she would pick up the phone in her house, in the new family where she was born, and she would try to say that, I want to call Laila. And new parents would be baffled because they did not know anybody called Leila. And they would tell her, "Who is Leila? What are you talking about?" And she would say, "Well, let my head grow up a little big, then I'll tell you who she is." And within a year, when she was able to properly have recall, she said that Leila was my daughter, and she stays in this place. And she gave all the details of her family and other relatives' names. And so the new parents were really puzzled, and finally they decided to go approach the previous family. And when they explained to them, they were not willing to believe that it's possible. Anyway, they finally met this new person, a small child, 6 7 year old, and she was able to meet her prior husband. And when her prior husband showed some of the pictures of him and previous life lady Hannah, and some of the other friends, she was able to, this girl Suzanne, was able to recall everybody's name, all the friends, that it would not be normally possible for such a young girl to even know, because these were private photographs. And so finally, after much reluctance, they were convinced that yes, it is quite possible that their Hannah reincarnated as a Suzanne. And not only that, in time, when Suzanne grew up to be a young adult woman, her features looked pretty similar to Hannah in her earlier days. So researchers found that not only the soul carries over, but some of the impressions, the facial features or how they look, sometimes are also carried over. And as I had shared in the past, that sometimes some of the injuries that the past bodies sustain somehow show up in the new body that they take, as if the trauma of the past life has so much memory, so much impression, that it cannot escape in the new body, and those traumas are carried over. That sometimes also explains the phobias we have sometimes, because people are fearful of maybe water or fire, but normally people are afraid of that. But in certain cases, it is shown in extreme way, where if somebody doesn't want to even get close to a large body of water, or doesn't want to cross bridge because there may have been some incident in the bridge, or a phobia related to snake, or not being in certain circumstances, or not being in certain places, even though they have never been there in the past, or in this body, in this physical body. Yet some of the phobias cannot be explained. There was another interesting story that I heard, talking about phobia. There was a lady who passed away because of the snake bite. The cobra bit her toe, right toe, and this lady passed away. And so there was another woman who kept getting this dream that there's a snake in the dream that is biting her. And this woman was pregnant, and this happened after a long gap, almost 100, maybe 150-year gap. And this woman who was pregnant and who would experience this dream of every day while she was pregnant, almost every day she would see this strange dream where a snake is biting her toe, and she would shake her feet in the dream, and because of that she would wake up. So she could not understand this, and anyway, she gave a birth to this child, and this child grew up, and this happened in India, and this woman was born on the west side. I think it was in Maharashtra, a Marathi woman, probably in Bombay or Pune, I don't recall that. So this woman, grew up normally, and she got education. She got two masters, and she was working as a lecturer. And she developed some medical condition because of which she had to be admitted to hospital. And it so happened that there was a yogi, a holy man, who used to come to hospital to just teach meditation or yoga to the patients in the hospital so that they could recover easily and they could be stress free. So this yogi taught meditation to a lot of people, and including this woman. And this woman, became pretty good at meditation. And one day, while meditating, she went into a trance, and she became a completely different person. And so she was from, West Coast. She spoke a particular language called Marathi, and so, but during the trance, she started speaking a different language, and this was seen by her family. This was seen by different scholars who came, and people realized that okay, she's speaking a language called Bengali, and that's from eastern part of India. And not only any Bengali, but she was speaking some old style of Bengali that is not predominant right now, but it was contemporary in 1800s. And so, of course, this family, the Marathi family, her sisters and parents were unable to understand what is she speaking, and she would give instructions in Bengali, and she would not be able to understand some of the technology that existed at that time. So she fumbled. She was not able to take care of herself, and so a lot of scholars, Bengali scholars, were called, and they were able to understand what she was saying, and they were surprised that this woman was speaking a very old style of Bengali dialect that was predominant at that time. So anyway, they were able to have proper conversation, and it turned out that this woman, although this was a Marathi-born woman, and she was speaking Bengali, she indeed believed that she is still the old lady that existed in 1800, and her ideas about the things that she had experienced back then were still true. She felt she was staying in 1800s, and because the new family, a Marathi family, would tell her to cook her own food and things like that. And because this happened, she was in this trance state for 43 days. So it was a very sustained period where her personality completely was overtaken by her own prior life, and she could not relate it to the new life. And so when it came to cooking, she was not able to deal with the latest appliances because she was used to the old ways of cooking back in India, where you would create a sort of makeshift fire and cook using those means. She was not used to electrical appliances. So researchers observed that, and they found a lot of similarity between those two women also. And this has been documented as well. So there have been a lot of cases similar to that, especially in eastern countries, India, Pakistan, Nepal, and those areas. And so it is commonly believed that reincarnation is possible. At least they do not deny it. However, in West, we are so steeped in science that we want proof for everything. And even when the proof is given, we somehow become still skeptical. We do not want to believe that. It's interesting the way how our minds are hardened sometimes by more knowledge, and we set our biases and don't want to change ourselves. A seeker of truth, as wise people say, masters say, that have to be open. Even doesn't matter you are brought up in science or not, but whatever is placed in front of you, or you take your position in a neutral way and then observe. But sometimes our ideas are so fixated that we don't want to change, and so sometimes even though we want truth, but we want truth in our own way, and the truth that is acceptable to us. Um, and not many people are uh, 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 a seeker like Gautam Buddha was, or seeker like our master Ishupuri ji was, who and that is true of many sages, many saints who gave up pretty much everything they had in their life in order to seek that truth. It is said that Buddha, who was Gautam, was born as a prince, and in fact, when he was born, a lot of scholars, spiritual scholars, they predicted that this person is going to be a very famous king, or he will be a very wise spiritual man. And but he's going to relinquish everything. He is going to become ascetic. He will give up uh, all that world has to give, all the pleasures that world has to offer. So his father, when he was born, he was very concerned that this young prince, may find everything that this kingdom has to offer, all the riches of this kingdom. He's going to leave that and become ascetic, become a sadhu, become a saint. He didn't want that. He wanted somebody to carry on his legacy and rule the kingdom. But so initial few years as this young boy who was growing up, so in Nepal, where he was born, and he grew up like any prince, in luxury, and in time he got married. His father always worried, in the back of his mind, the predictions that were made. He was always worrying about those things. So he made sure that he's not, this young boy Siddharth was not exposed to the challenges of this life, so that he continues to remain absorbed in this worldly life, and would one day grow up to be a king. So he was brought up in a very protected environment, and one day he got married as well, and he had a child. And his father, Siddharth's father, although he is called Gautam Buddha, and his earlier name was Siddhartha, and once he became a father, Siddharth became father. Siddharth's father realized that probably he's not going to go back, and there is no concern anymore, because he's a family man now. He has a child. He needs to take care of the child, and he has a wife as well. So he gave him a little more freedom. Siddharth's father gave Siddharth a little bit freedom to go outside and explore. And so one day Siddharth took off with his chariot, and as he went out, he saw things that he had never encountered before. He saw a man who was in agony. He was in pain, and so Siddharth asked his charioteer, "What's happening? Why is this man in pain, in agony?" Then charioteer explained to him that he has certain disease, because of which it gives him pain. Prior to that, Siddharth did not know that there is anything called disease, because he was growing up in a very comfortable environment where everything was provided for him. He did not know what sadness is. He did not know what misery is, what pain is. And so he was surprised to see that a human body can experience those. Somebody can experience pain like this person was experiencing. And so as he explored further, he found there was another man who was very old, and he was having difficulty walking, and it seemed like it was painful. And Siddhartha again asked his charioteer, "What's happening? Why is this man looking like this?" And charioteer explained to him that this man is very old now, and his body is giving up. He's experiencing a lot of pain. He's going to die. And prior to that, Siddhartha did not know that there is anything called old age. imagine the kind of seclusion or kind of atmosphere he was brought in, that he was kept away from all these challenges of a human body. And so again he asked the charioteer for explanation, and charioteer gave him idea that human body can become weak as it ages, and everybody has to go through it, and there is nobody who doesn't in old age experience pain. And so that came as a surprise to Siddhartha. And when he went back, he constantly kept thinking about these incidents that happened on that day, and he wondered. Uh, and during that journey, he also found a person who was who seemed like ascetic. He was sitting under a tree, and he had closed his eyes and he was meditating, and but he was looking very peaceful and radiant. And so all that experience, he kept going over them and wondering, what is the meaning of life. And uh, he decided that he want to find the truth. There is so much more to know about the life, and he truly wants to understand what these things are, what these experiences are. And he set out for truth. And in time, he found that he got enlightenment after a lot of struggle. He had to go through his own journey to find the answer for himself, and in time he did, and he was known as Gautam Buddha. Buddha is something, it's related to buddhi, knowledge. Somebody who becomes totally enlightened has all the knowledge. He has achieved the pinnacle of knowledge. So he was called Gautam Buddha, and we all know him as Buddha. And so a lot of masters in the past, Buddha, Mahavir, Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Samsit Tabriz, Maulana Rum, many masters in different ages have been born and have carried the same message, that this is a temporary stay. The body that we have been given is so that we can find out what the reality is, what the truth is. Because if we don't find the truth, we again come back. The life, as I was explaining or sharing with you about the reincarnation, that keeps on going. This is how the life is. It's the soul is transmigrating or making a journey, or evolution of soul is happening through various life form. In Indian literature, Vedas, it is said that there are 84 lakh, 8.4 million life forms. So the human being that we are, other than that, there are many other life forms. Commonly, in the plant tree kingdom, you can find a lot of life forms. And if you take a small puddle of water, from lake and observe under microscope, you'll find so much life happening. Things are moving about by itself. You can see the life in them. So life is everywhere. In fact, a lot of people did not know that even plants have life. Plants have emotion. There was a scientist called J.C. Bose, Jagdish Chandra Bose, in 1800s, who was fascinated by this idea of soul, and how Indian yogis would talk about uh, different life forms having a soul. 84 lakh, 8.4 million type of species that are there. And so he wondered if plants also have life, they have soul. Can they sense emotions? Can they sense touch? And he created many devices in order to measure the reaction of these plants in different circumstances. And our master Ishupuriji also shared some of his anecdotes where a girl, so this was a setup where a girl in the room where the plant was, and the plant was connected to the electronic equipment that the scientist had devised, just to measure the different electromotive forces in plants, and different other minerals, rocks, and so on. So he devised this apparatus so that he could measure the electromotive force, which is supposed to be a power or force that gave life to whatever material, whatever plant that was in question. So J.C. Bose would have a girl in the room, and then somebody would try to attack the girl, threaten the girl, and he would measure what would happen to the plants, how would the plants react. And surprise to him was that plants could react to the situation, and they could show the emotions of feeling a threat or feeling empathy towards the girl. And so he was surprised, and he conducted many experiments to see what kind of reaction he could get from not only plants but rocks and different objects. And he devised in 1800, early 1900, he devised various equipments to measure the voltage difference and electricity flowing from different parts of electromotive force flowing from different parts of the plants. In fact, there's a person in CIA who used to work with the light detectors. I forget the name of the machine, polygraph machines or something like that. So this person was used to train other people to read the observations from this machine, and of course he was training a lot of spies who would work for United States, and would and also see if somebody is lying or not. So one day he was as he was working with this machine, thought came upon him that what would happen if I connect the electrodes that is generally placed on somebody who is giving a light detector test. What would happen if the electrodes are placed on a plant? Would the plant also react in some way? So he connected the electrodes to the plant that he had, and surprisingly he got a reading in this light detector machine, and he was fascinated, and so he decided to conduct many other tests, like what would happen if I would the plant react, and the reaction would be captured in this machine if I wanted to burn this leaf. And the electrodes were connected while he just had this thought, and surprisingly he recorded a very violent reaction on his machine, which he was surprised by. And so he wondered if it was just thought that caused the plant to somehow react to the thought, sense the thought. So he conducted many experiments, and every time he would repeat and he would find the same result. So not only the thoughts influence the plants, but the actions of course influence the plants. He decided to burn one of the leaves of the plant, and the plant had a very shocking sad reaction. And on the other side, when he gave water to the plant, and the plants had a reaction of joy, of happiness. So he published this result, similar to the result that earlier I was talking about, reincarnation of 1200 cases, which the newer generation finds it hard. People who are steeped in science, but somehow want to not look at the evidence that were collected in the scientific manner. Somehow now people are coming up with a different explanation of having a morphic field. Apparently they've conjured of ideas or new theories wherein ether has all the information, and just we somehow tap into some of those and can access everything. In a way it's true also, because Ishwarji had talked about astral dreams and Akashic records and so on. So this may be just a modern interpretation of that. So going back to this CIA person's experiments that are recorded and published in a book, but modern folks somehow, people who are working in the similar field, don't want to give any credence to that, because sometimes our ideas in our head is so fixated that we want answer in particular way, and we are not willing to consider any other way, even though that may be true or indeed true across across time. So and so not only the plants, but the other forms of life as well. Small creatures that we can see floating in a puddle of water under microscope. And there's a sect in India, Jain, who believe that if you keep your mouth open and as you breathe, a lot of these insects come into your mouth, and you are killing them by ingesting them because of your breathing or eating. So they normally put a cloth over their mouth so that accidentally they don't injure these small tiny creatures. So it is predominantly believed in Eastern cultures that life is everywhere, and it is not just human being, but animals have feeling. Animals can sense what we go through, and sometimes they sense even things that we understand. We can understand, like sometimes some natural calamities happen, earthquake is about to happen, and dogs and animals can somehow react to this happening even before it registers in our at least as a human being, it registers to us. Unless we feel the earth shaking, we have no idea that earthquake is going to happen. Whereas some of the animals, birds, can sense these things happening maybe hundreds of miles away, and they can sense the danger. So there is life around us, but the life that we have been given, according to saints who have been born across long time span. In As I was mentioning earlier, Buddha, he was born in 25, almost 500 years before Christ, and Mahavir and other saints, they have been born across different periods of time, and they have talked about similar truth, and they have realized that we don't understand that the body that we have is very short-lived, and we have to find a way out, because if we don't find a way out, we are going to be reincarnating in either this similar body, or depending on the karma that we have, in a different kind of body. So not necessarily will be born as a human being. If this opportunity is lost and we cannot find the truth, or we are not interested in truth, one day we are going to die, because nobody lives, even the kings or rich people, they, no matter how much they have wealth, they cannot take all of it or anything with them. They just leave everything behind, and but yet you come back in a different life. Imagine all the hard work that you did as a billionaire or a very wealthy person who accumulated everything in your life, had to let go and then be born in a completely different life and start over. How long can you keep on doing? Once the evidence is presented in front of you that this life goes on, and we keep coming back over and over, and not only we it's a false illusion that we have, that we have a physical body. Even though we grow, our faces, our voice, everything looks same, but somehow we let go of everything, but we hold on to this identity of, okay, I'm this and this person, and I'm a scientist, or I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm a teacher, I'm a firefighter, whatever occupation you have. We hold on to that identity, and we hold on to all our attachment, and to fulfill some of those, we come back again. Or sometimes because of the actions that we have taken, we come back again and again in this body. The masters tell us that this is a karma bhumi. This is a place of action. We create action here, and we resolve our karmas. We are given this particular body because of all the impressions that we have collected, all the things that we have accumulated, there's a word in Indian system called karma. That means because of your action, whatever the result is, that is as if it is stored somewhere, and you need to account for it. So there is nothing that There is nothing that is not accounted for. If you do good work, you'll be rewarded accordingly. If you do bad work, if you kill somebody, if you are not nice to people, you hurt them in some way, that is recorded somewhere, and at the time of your death you'll have to account for it. You'll be given a chance to either account for your positive or negative. You have to pay it off. You have to account for those things, and accordingly your next birth will be decided. And masters tell us that it is our duty as a human being to find the truth and escape this cycle of birth and rebirth. And we all have to go through karma, and according to masters, we have been given this body so that we can work out our karma and also find the truth. The truth is that the life goes on, and reincarnation happens. We have to pay for our karma, but this is also an opportunity to find the truth, and this is the only life form in which we have been endowed by the Creator Himself to seek and find the truth. In other life forms, we just monotonically we are reacting based on the type of life form it is. The trees cannot move about, the plants cannot move about, there are insects that move about, but their lifetime is very short, and they are just reacting based on the circumstances. The number of elements that are in each life form that predominantly decides what kind of consciousness it will have. In a human being, there are 5 elements that are present. In other life forms, then generally it is much lower in number, 3 or 4, and or some combination of that. But in this life form, as a human being, we have all the 5 elements present, because of which we have this faculty of deciding to do something or not. We have this faculty to examine something critically and make a decision. So because of that, because of the circumstances we are placed in, it evokes certain reactions from us depending on the situation we are going through. If our business has failed, we are trying very hard in getting the business up again. Or if some of our family members is sick, we wonder why they are sick. If somebody passes away, again it brings back to the same question as to what is life, what happens after death. Similar question that Siddhartha Gautam Buddha had. And so we get a chance to resolve some of these questions by developing seeking in ourselves. We seek outside, we read books, we run into temples, mosques, churches, talk to priests, fathers, and try to get answer. But it turns out that after running around looking at books, we somehow still cannot find answer, and we bump upon these people whose message does not seem to change over a period of time, because they talk about truth which doesn't change. And the truth according to them is that we are conscious, and that's why we are experiencing everything outside. And if you want to know reality, you just have to turn your attention back. According to them, our attention is flowing from between our eyes behind where the focal point is. And as we observe this world, the observation is actually recorded in a place behind your eyes, because that's where we are located. And the reason we experience this world is that our attention is flowing out from this body, the 9 senses that we have, 9 doors that we have built in our body. And they say that across all life forms, 84 lakh, 84 lakh, 8.4 million life forms, only in this form we can, because of our free will, because of our ability to be able to decide whether we want to do something or not, we can decide that, okay, I do not want to live this life, I want a way out. And we bump upon these people who guide us, that if you take your attention back to the place from where it is flowing, then you will have an idea of what else is there. You will realize that this physical body holds all the power. It holds not only the creator, but the createe, created. Everything is happening from there. The seeker and sought are all there. And we just have to turn the attention back and try to meditate from that point, from where all the experiences are happening through the senses that we have been given in this physical body. So it's just a matter of turning the attention back. In fact, we turn our attention back every day. When we go to sleep, we have, before sleeping, we have attention on the bed. We remember us lying down. But the moment that realization drops away, goes away by natural means every day, we don't remember this physical body. Our attention has shifted somewhere else. We find ourselves in a dream body. And sometimes we remember those dreams. And some of those dreams can be extremely vivid. Sometimes you can have these dreams as a lucid dreaming in the daytime, like King Janak had when he had a very good meal and he dreamt of engaged in a war with a neighboring king. And it was as real as the living condition that we find ourselves in a living state, waking state. He was not able to differentiate between that dream that he had, which was as real as this living moment. And so he had that question. And similarly, some of us also drift away either during daytime or in the night into this strange dream where the strange dream seems as real as this dream. And we somehow forget our identity. Sometimes we forget if we are a man or a woman or a child. And yet we are unable to distinguish the reality between these two. So it's possible that the life that we're leading right now it could be a dream as well, that we will only know after waking up from this dream. But unfortunately, we wake up from this dream only after death. So there is no way to know what is the reality beyond this, whether this is a dream or not. What masters tell us that we don't have to die, but we can pretend dying in this physical body. So if we simulate the state of death in this physical body, we will be able to realize through our own experience that there is truth beyond this physical body, the physical universe that we experience. And some of those experiences can be as real or even more real than what we find in the waking state right now. So it's just a matter of practice. And what masters, not only as a teacher, they come to us and teach the way to meditate, but they give us something called Nam or a name, and they attach this sound current in our head so that we can get hold of the sound current. And if we just keep following that, it will lead us to our ultimate home from where this is emanating. And this is the thing that connects different levels of creation according to different masters in our path. And we'll be able to understand what the reality is. We'll be able to understand that this is just a dream. And that is why most realized people equate our living as just a dream. But because we are completely shut off from other reality, this is a reality for us. And this is not a dream. But when we get hold of other realities, when we have some experiences, then we can ask this question, which one is real? And maybe none of that is real. And as masters, guide us from inside, because these masters, when they hold our hand, when they initiate us, when they connect us with our name, they are the only ones that go with us. If you see people around you, friends, relatives, mother, father, siblings, none of them go with you. You do not carry anything with you. In fact, it's the irony that we spend so much time with everyone, friends, relatives. Every holiday we have, we want to spend more time with them and get ourselves entertained. But none of these things go at the time of death. Your parents cannot help you when you are dying. Your siblings cannot help you. There's nobody who can help us in true means. Only masters who selflessly come and hold our hand, and they tell us that I'm going to go with you. In fact, it is the account of most satsangis who have been initiated that masters come at the time of death, and it is not Kal that comes, the angel of death, but it is master who comes, who you are familiar with, who you have darshan of in your meditation or dream or whichever way, and he's the one who collects your soul and places it in a way so that your next life is more conducive to finding this truth, because in that next life we will have this human body with a little more convenient situation where we can practice meditation, because they understand this human body is essential. In fact, there are stories of how masters or teachers or rulers in different life form other than this human being, who want to pray to masters to be given another human life so that they can work out their karma and find the truth. So it is our duty to go inside, to make sure that we attend to this most important task, because other things will not stop. The work that you have to do to earn, to sustain, this will keep on going. Sometimes it is it's more, sometimes less, but whatever opportunities we have, we should dedicate it to finding the truth, seeking inside, remembering the master. And masters, even though tell us for our mind to give 2.5 hours to meditation, but sometimes master also say that this whole life has to be turned into meditation. It has to be 24/7. Just giving 2.5 hours out of 24 hours in the day is not really seeking. It's not really justice. It should be the other way around. We should be resting only for 2.5 hours and engaging rest of the time in spirituality. So masters have given mantras for us to also recite, so that we are meditating. Our complete attention is not required in anything. When we are cooking, when we are driving, when we are traveling, this can keep on going, and we can be meditating in the name of Master, remembering him. And that's how the life of a seeker should be. So with this, I would like to conclude, and I hope I am going to see some of you at least during upcoming event in few weeks, and I hope to have some talk with you and want to understand your background, and I'm looking forward to meeting many of you. Thank you. See you.